Hello and welcome to the Final Shots podcast. We're back.
Yeah, it's been a while, clearly. We've both had COVID since.
We just had COVID.
Okay, yeah, we're still
That's
recovering.
very recent. Do you know how long it's been?
Probably since September last year.
Honest, I thought it was
I
like March. I looked and it's September.
I think it's September, yeah.
That's actually shocking. And I think entitled it like "We're Back" was the last one.
No.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I think it was like, is it called a hiatus if it happens every week? And here we are.
We are now back.
We are now back. And we will be back probably in a year as well, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think we'll be on a better schedule from now on, hopefully. Famous last words. But should we go straight to it? Yeah.
Crack on. Well, what's happened in the world?
Well, yesterday, the women's England team won the Euros, which really showed up the men, really, right? Like,
It's come home. What is it, like 50-something years, right?
Well, from 1966 was the last time England won a major tournament, so over 50 years.
And that was
over 56
Was that
years.
the Germany World Cup as well?
Yes.
There you go.
I think so. Anyway.
James, this is a sports podcast, like.
I know, you're really
it's kind
bringing
of
it.
your job to...
That is meant to be my side, but I have not.
Women always bring it home, eh?
I know. No, they did amazing. I mean, there were a bit nervy moments, so they took the lead, 62 minutes. But then Germany equalised, and it was 1-1, and it felt, here we go again. We've seen this before in extra time, but and what I thought it might have gone to penalties, and I'm not sure the nation could have taken it. So
I do love penalties, though. It's quite fun. But beautiful end goal. Beautiful.
Chloe Kelly made sure that everyone's celebrating apparently in Trafalgar Square, Leicester Square right now. Yeah. So that's amazing, and
yeah. For context, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
It has just come home. It has arrived. We are here. Did you see the interview with her actually, where she it was like just after, and they were interviewing her, and you know when you see someone just so elated, and like she couldn't. I don't really know what she was saying, but midway through the sentence, she just started singing "Sweet Caroline" and ran off with the mic.
But love that. Clearly an Arsenal fan.
So good. You know, I was reading about it and like the kind of difference, because obviously, like, not obviously, but I haven't really watched many women's games. I don't really watch many men's games. But what I was seeing people say online is that because the men are so rigorously trained with media and stuff like that, it is harder to kind of see the personalities sometimes.
Interesting.
Because obviously, like, they rely so much on sponsorships and stuff like that. And obviously as well, they're paid a lot more. So in some ways, as much as like they definitely are relatable in some ways, like footballers aren't really relatable.
Okay.
So to kind of have someone like that, I mean, look, that moment is relatable to anyone in some sense. Like, I feel like when anyone wins a game, you kind of feel it. But this kind of felt a bit different.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. It kind of much more like human response in some senses, you know.
Yeah, and I think it has helped the fact that the misery we felt last year,
yeah,
like it all came together, and we didn't want another, I guess, opportunity to lose another final, and they brought it home, and I think it's an amazing feeling. And it does, like, one thing about sport that I think everyone can agree with, like, whether you follow it or not. I know, Tara, sometimes you think it's just a bit boring or whatever.
I completely disagree. I'm a big football fan.
Oh, are you a massive football fan? Okay.
Huge.
All right.
I do my best.
But it does bring people together, and just seeing people celebrate is amazing. I have to say, I was saying this to Tara though, I feel like the trophy isn't the best looking trophy actually. There's like two sort of crystal kind of globes amongst sort of this twisted silver like, I don't know, trophy like
Oh,
structure.
you had a lot of issues with the design of everything, James.
Well,
You're nitpicking
the
ball.
football was it looked awful. It looked awful. It looked like, I mean, nothing wrong with kids' design, but it looked like kids designed it. It was like someone put a plaster on a football and then put another plaster football, but with two colours. So it's like stripped one way and then stripped the other way. I guess you wouldn't forget the ball. You're gonna remember the ball that the England women's team won with, but
I guess it doesn't matter what it looks like, it's how you use it, mate. There you go.
the track's away from the victory. Now I just can't forget about the ball. It's like, all right, you brought it home, great, whatever. But
can you just make it look a bit prettier, ladies, yeah?
I didn't even want to look at the screen, to be honest. Like, we can win this game. It was so bad. We had to watch extra time, and that was just more time I had to watch this hideous ball. But no, it was great. The women won their first Euros and first international trophy, and we no longer have to wait 56 years. Well, hopefully we won't have to wait another 56 years for another international trophy.
Do you think this is a turn for women's sport? Like I was this isn't anything to say anything about women's sport. I just don't know anything about sport in general. Yeah. Who is like that famous female footballer?
Do you mean Alex Scott?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
mean
fine.
Alex Scott.
Yeah, okay. No, her and Jermaine Genius, I think, have been like even getting into or maybe I'm just talking about Jermaine Genius here, but I feel like they've gotten a bit more mainstream.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the reason I brought her up is I think her and Ian Wright after this were talking about like how was it in like 2018 they weren't even like playing women's football at like major stadiums because they thought it wouldn't sell out, and here you have Wembley selling out. It's crazy how far it's come in recent times.
So I think that's interesting because I wonder what their point of there would have been like for England or anything, because so to answer your question, I think it's an amazing step. It was a record number, I think around 17 million people watched the final on the BBC, which is amazing. And the more coverage you have, and especially with winning as well, like winning does make a big part, it will hopefully inspire other females to, like younger girls who think, no, of course, let me pursue football, or, educate some other men or women that are like female football is great to watch. Like I remember one of the best matches I've watched was like I think USA against, I can't remember who, but basically
was that the 8-0 one?
I can't remember. I think it was like, or it might have been 8-0, but I think Carly Lloyd, this American player, scored like a hat-trick of 5 goals, and one of the goals was from the halfway line. I was like, and this was like at midnight. I shouldn't have been up probably. I think I had exams or I had something. And it was, I think, the Brazil World Cup. It was late though, so I can't really remember. But anyway, that game was amazing. And, you watch female tennis, or there's no reason why female football shouldn't be what men's football is. But I think there's still a long way to go. Because I think in terms of filling a stadium, filling a finals for Euros, is a lot easier to sell than...
It's different, but now that people have done that, do you know what I mean? The fact is, we might not have gotten there if we hadn't won the Euros, but winning the Euros meant people actually watch the game.
Yeah.
And people actually know the players now. I think half the battle is knowing players. I think that's why people who don't watch sport, from my experience anyway, find it difficult, because sport's all about story, right? At the end of the day, yes, it's like who scores more or whatever, but it's like, oh, this player is playing for this team, and it's really exciting because this is his first time, he's just been transferred. Do you know what I mean? It's like all this background is interesting, whereas if you're just looking at it without knowing who anyone is, who actually scored, it takes a while to actually get into it.
Yeah.
So it's like this, at least people know who like Chloe Kelly is, and all that, and like I was reading about the story of her, like she had quite a bad injury before that. Do you know what I mean? It all builds, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I think now, I hope now anyway, we'll kind of see a turn in that, and this is kind of the beginning of people being more interested in women's football, because at the end of the day, it's just football.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
And I think what they need to do as well is just make women's football a bit more ready available. Like, I think they've been shown a lot more on the BBC.
Yeah.
But more can be done that if you get increased exposure, then it will hopefully get to a stage where you've got a following and people will then pay for like subscriptions and stuff, and that will only help the women's game. But
no, sure. It's a vicious cycle, right? They don't put it on, so then why would people be interested? They don't put it in the big stadiums, so why would people go?
Well, exactly. You know? So, but no, I think it's going in a great direction, and it's come home.
It's come home. It bloody has. What a day, eh? What a day. I feel like speaking of kind of knowing more about football and trying to get into the vibe of it more, so I know it's happening, so I've got a reason to actually watch. I mean, I like football. It's just I wouldn't put it on if I was by myself.
Okay, so I failed. Still.
So far.
What about an Arsenal game? We got our man.
So Arsenal are different, but I still don't think I'd watch it by myself, unless I had a reason to.
Okay.
And so now I think I've given myself a reason.
Wow.
Or you've given me a reason.
Okay.
Fantasy.
Wow, okay. Yes.
So, yeah, because, I mean, if I'm winning or losing, that's, like, a lot more stressful. So I want to watch these games. So, yeah, I've started fantasy. How exciting.
Okay. So far in this podcast, only I've talking about my fantasy team, so...
And it's never a good story.
No. I think you're going to beat me, by the way. So we're going to do a weekly or an update when we do our podcast about how it's going, and hopefully I beat Tara, but you never know. Like
I mean, for context, how many times have you lost in the group you do it with your friends?
I've lost a few times. Or
really, I think it's been 0 times.
Fine.
James.
When we played seriously,
for money.
For money, I haven't lost yet. That might be more about the competition I'm against rather than my ability. But we'll see.
The competition's better than me.
I don't know. I actually don't know.
So, are we putting money on this? What's the wager?
Question. Well, what would you like to wager? I'm happy to put money if that's what you're willing to risk.
What are we talking about?
£10.
Okay, how about winner buys loser? Loser buys winner.
Loser buys winner, okay.
Take out of choice.
Take out choice, okay. What would be your take out of choice? Maximum.
£30.
Okay. Oh, that's a very nice takeout. Okay. I mean, that wouldn't get you a Five Guys, but sure.
Okay, maximum 40.
That could be a cheeky Nando's there.
40?
Okay, no, okay.
What are you getting from Nando's?
I mean...
The whole bloody chicken?
Even then, like, that's what... I don't know how much, actually. 'Cause if anyone goes Nando's, clearly thighs is the only thing you can get. But anyway, I think we should actually have a segment about that.
About Nando's?
Just about food. I'm just... clearly, we're recording this before I've eaten anything today, so...
I just also love that we're just trying sports, movies, food. Well, what else can we shove in there, you know?
Board games.
But you see?
Board games, you know.
But is that not a sport?
I guess another segment we'll talk about. But okay, fine. Your fantasy team. So I haven't seen this. I haven't given you any advice.
This is a live reveal. Okay, you've given me one little bit of advice.
Yes.
Which I took. Just as a spoiler.
Actually, why don't you... Yeah, tell me the advice you're giving me, and also just tell me your rough strategy you went in with, and then I'll have a look at it.
Okay. So, the advice you gave me was, I haven't really been researching stuff. I've kind of just been going off, like, the website. James gave me a little tutorial how it worked and stuff. But, yeah, mainly my strategy has just been, like, choosing players I like. Such as Tierney. But I think you knew that I was going to go for Tierney. So you let me know that he was injured. Yeah.
So I think on the fantasy site he might not be put down as injured, but I don't think he hasn't played in any pre-season, so yeah, he's injured right now, and so he won't like. Tierney is a very good pick because he's an attacking fullback.
Why, thank you.
He'll get some assists, and Arsenal do get some clean sheets. And our defense is actually looking a lot better this year. But yeah.
So that was something.
Okay.
There's probably players who are equally, in the same situation. But I guess we'll find out.
Okay.
Should I just reveal?
So what was your rough tactic?
Or should I go through each thing?
You choose.
Okay, let's go through it. So goalkeeper. I chose Alisson.
Great pick. Well, I've picked Alisson.
I know. The reason. Should I tell you the reason I picked Alisson?
Go on.
I knew no goalkeepers apart from I knew you usually put Alisson in your fantasy team.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't think I have for like 3 years.
But before then, he was always there.
I think so.
Who have you been doing? Last 3 years.
I don't know. I haven't got a permanent fixture.
Oh, I really thought Alisson was a permanent fixture. Yeah. So he was the one I went straight for.
Cool.
I originally, this was another bit of advice, because James sneak peeked, for some reason, just my goalkeepers by accident.
For context, normally I might be on Tara's computer browsing while she's still asleep or whatever. That sounds a lot creepier than it is. It's more just, I'm using her computer and she might just be doing whatever she's doing, right? And so I normally check fantasy on her football from time to time. And obviously that is my account. But now she's got an account. I started scrolling and then I saw, not my picks basically. And then I realised, okay, this is her team. I didn't want the review. I'll wait for the podcast. So yeah, I knew that. So then I mentioned to her.
So who was my original goalkeeper on bench, I guess?
So Sanchez, which is the Brighton keepers, which both are great picks.
So you know what's surprising? When I went back, because I was like, so James was saying that he was kind of, it was almost a waste to have a good goalie on the bench. But do you know how much Sanchez was?
4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what minimum is?
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not that good. Like, if he's good, like, it's not necessarily.
You realise that 0.5?
Yeah, it did make a difference.
Big difference.
And it was very useful to get rid of him. But I was.
For the record, Alisson did not play in the game we watched on Saturday, but from all accounts, he's gonna play this weekend.
If he doesn't, what's your thoughts on Forster?
Forster? Is he 4.0?
Yeah.
I don't know if he plays actually, but that's fine. As in,
what happens if neither goalkeeper plays?
You just don't get any points. But the whole point is, goalkeeper, most of the time, they always play. So the 4.0 choice.
Yeah, it's
just saying of all the 4.0s, that is probably up there with the picks. I haven't picked that because basically I like to pick...
Who's your bench?
My bench is the legend Danny Ward from Leicester.
Danny Ward!
The reason why I picked Danny Ward is because one thing maybe you'll grow to learn.
Do you get it? Shane's brother.
Oh dear. X Factor. We should talk about X Factor.
Oh my God.
Hey, that's basically films and movies.
It's a film, movie, sports, food, and singing podcast.
Simon Cowell.
Yeah,
that's our segment. No, basically part of fantasy is player prices go up and down, and I wanted to choose someone who I didn't think will go down at all. And
I didn't know they went up and down.
So reason for that, looking at how many people have selected Danny Ward, is 3.7%. Interesting. But Forster's probably pretty low as well.
See, these are the real strats. Okay.
Great pick.
Sorry, this is gonna take forever if I go through, but let's just track it to defense. So I swapped out Tierney.
Okay.
For hopefully someone who does play.
Cool.
Zinchenko.
Great. Okay, I've got him in my head too. Okay. I wonder how many we got the same, but we'll see.
I know you for a fact. You have my next guy, Trent.
Yeah. Well, everyone kind of has him, so that's fine.
But I mean, I picked him before. I picked him because I like Trent.
Nice.
He's a name I know.
Can I ask? Do you know every player you've picked?
No.
Apart from maybe guys you're just using for filler.
I'll let you know when I know a player. So Zinchenko, I know.
Cool.
I don't know him. I wouldn't recognise him. I know his name.
You walk past him like, you alright, mate?
Honestly, I wouldn't even know.
Okay. Cool.
Vestergaard.
Vestergaard, interesting. How much is he priced? 4.
Vestergaard is
4 million?
4.
Cool.
So it's just an easy pick. Who's he play for?
Leicester.
Leicester.
I think he looks like Pennywise. But anyway. If you want, have a
I
look.
kind of need to look at this now.
He looks like, I can't remember the actor.
Oh, he does
What's his
look
name?
a little bit like Pennywise.
He looks more like the actor than maybe Pennywise. But...
Yeah, oh no, for sure. Like, he looks like, what's his name?
Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bill Skarsgård. I feel like, isn't that footballer name Skarsgård? That's such a footballer name.
Maybe.
I'm not saying
Maybe
is, but I'm saying it is.
Odegaard. I don't know if you got Odegaard for it. No.
Let's see. Let's see. I do not have Odegaard.
Okay. Cool.
I have Vestergaard. Is that kind of racist, James?
Well, I thought you meant, isn't there a football player called Skarsgård?
No, I'm saying you're saying Vestergaard looks like Bill Skarsgård. I assume they're probably both from the same part of the world, so that's kind of offensive.
It was based on appearance than their name, but sure.
Exactly, appearance. Are you saying that all Norwegian people look like?
Probably Norwegian.
Am I being racist by thinking they're Norwegian?
I feel we should move on, you know.
You've been called out. Okay. A player I do know, but I chose just because he was in my budget. Trippier.
Interesting. Great pick.
Why is that
good
interesting?
pick. No, that's a good pick.
Okay. And Williams.
Who's Williams? Nico.
Yes.
Great pick. Okay.
Okay. And then any comments?
Trent, great. Zinchenko, good. Trippier, actually, like, I wouldn't... Actually, would I? I could. I wouldn't put him in, but he's actually a very good pick. Because he actually does free kicks, corners, and Newcastle got good running games. Nico Williams is actually a really good budget option. Vestergaard won't play. So it depends. Depending on your rest of your team, doesn't really matter.
Carry on. Apologies. Then midfielder, is it midfielders? Yep. My boy Saka.
Saka, great. Okay.
So Saka, actually originally I had him in. I took him out and put him back in.
Whoa. Okay.
I got cold feet with Saka because I thought maybe I just like him. That's why I wanted him on my team.
He's really good.
But then, he's. You mentioned that he was actually good, and I was like, okay. I just, he's like a little brother to me.
He is crazy. He's younger than us. As in, just I feel like we still maybe feel young, but we're actually quite old.
Oh, so old.
But okay, anyway. Neto. I've got Neto. Great.
Andreas.
Okay, I've got Andreas.
Oh, it's getting interesting. Do you have Saka?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, who do you think my next two?
Salah. Cool. Son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice, right? I could not have Son. Son is definitely my favourite player.
In the Prem?
Son is my favourite. Kearney's my second favourite.
Oh, right.
Saka's my third.
Great.
And then any guesses for front three? I'll tell you, one is very much a budget pick, and then the other two aren't. So I feel like I've had some big hitters already. Like,
haven't had a conversation with you. I thought you might have had Harry Kane.
I thought about him.
Oh, okay.
But then I thought, no.
Okay. Budget
Also,
option.
I had too many Tottenham players, which is kind of.
I mean, you've only named one now.
Forster's Tottenham, right?
Oh, Forster.
Is he not? Yeah, Tottenham.
Oh, Forster's gone to. Wow.
Live on the podcast, reporting it here first.
Whoa, fair enough. I think I knew that, but then I just forgot.
And I had another guy that I had to swap out to get Saka back.
Okay. I don't know, so please just reveal.
Greenwood.
Okay.
It's my budget option.
Yeah.
Do you know who Greenwood is?
I do. Everyone's picked him, which is why I will not pick him.
Oh, nice. Well, that's...
Because his price might go down, but sure.
I'm happy with that. So if more people pick it, the price goes down.
More people pick him gives them a more chance, because from my opinion would be that people might start like getting rid of him.
Interesting.
If people get rid of players, the percentage of like, if like 10% of people get rid of him, then, or something like that, it drops by 0.1. And I feel like Greenwood has got a good chance for that, but I don't know.
I feel like you're explaining like NFTs to me or something. It's just all completely
Exactly.
Okay, yep. And then
That's a fine pick, but yeah.
Vardy?
Jamie Vardy. Interesting. Wow, okay, great.
Okay. That's okay, I was worried about that one. Is that interesting bad or interesting okay?
So basically, I think a lot of this is contrasting to what I would do, but still really good, actually.
Okay. And then last pick, what do you think?
Give me a price range.
Should I just tell you the price?
Sure.
8.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Love that.
Jesus. Gotta do it to him.
Wow, 3 Arsenal players.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have to have at least 3 Arsenal players.
I've got 2.
Wow.
I've got 3. I'm not crazy.
I mean, Zinchenko's getting swapped out for Tierney whenever I can. So.
Have you got any money left over?
Nope.
Cool. So who's your captain? Who's got to be your captain?
Who would you think is smart?
Are you asking advice because you put one?
No, I've already picked and I'm not going to change it.
I'm guessing you're captaining Salah.
Yeah.
Cool.
5.
Perfect. Son.
Yeah. Out of 10, what would you give me?
Bearing in mind this is your first.
No, just in general.
Bearing in mind this is your first, I would give you a 9.
Very nice.
If basing it off just a team, I would give 7.5.
Is it... What would you give your team?
I would give my team an 8.
Okay, it's pretty close. It's not awful.
Maybe 8.5.
It's not awful then.
No, as in, I think you've done a really good job.
I was looking at some advice, because obviously I need to be real about this. And people were saying, keep your defence heavy. And
Which you
I have
haven't
not done that. And I feel like I will regret it. But I just, I think for me, I'm too close to these guys, I can't be picking and choosing.
So
I'm too close. Like, I feel like you're a bit of a traitor. Like, you'd happily get rid of, you'd happily go 0 at Arsenal.
Yes.
And that's not me. It's not me, babes. I'm real.
My fantasy team and my real life team, don't have to cross. It's fine. So I think, apart from a few other advice stuff I may give you, I think you shouldn't do any more changes, because I think the idea would be you should do this without my help. But maybe what we'll do...
Oh yeah, this is my team.
A little segment where you can ask for like, would you do this or that? And I'll give you advice and you can decide if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'll take advice from the enemy, but it'd be interesting to see. Try.
Why I rate your team is because what I'm trying to say is I could easily see, and I really mean this, you scored more points than me the first week.
Let's see.
I really believe it has that chance.
You see, I haven't even been looking at the fixtures, which is probably a bad decision.
From hearing your team,
were saying
your
you
fixtures
should look
are
at
fine.
5 fixtures ahead.
From hearing your team, your fixtures are fine.
Good. Nice.
Honestly, the only stuff I would change would be Forster. I would change to another goalkeeper, because you can have max 3 slots for a team. You're wasting a Spurs slot. Does that make sense?
But can't I do that when I
transfer
skip people out anyway?
Yeah, but
when you transfer out, is it only one player you can get rid of?
Yeah. So Forster, I'm telling you, won't play. You might as well get just another 4.0 and save that top spot.
But I said I was committed, James. Is this kind of cheating?
I don't think Forster is gonna be your be-all and end-all. Honestly, the only 2 changes I would make for you is the Forster pick and maybe Greenwood. But Greenwood, if he might genuinely play, so you can stick with him. But honestly, I'd get rid of Forster. That's the only change I'd give you in terms of advice. The rest of the team...
Any advice about who should be on my bench? Because currently...
So who's your starting lineup?
I'll just show you actually.
Yeah, so
So I've got Williams, Andreas, and Greenwood.
cool. So my only other advice would be I'd get rid of Vestergaard / maybe not get rid of him. He won't play, so I'd put Nico Williams instead of Vestergaard. Is my only pick, and then.
But if he won't play, I'll go to Williams anyway.
Exactly. So that's a good point.
I'm trying to have as least of your hands in this as possible.
Okay.
But I may take the Forster.
So looking at this,
It looks like a great team, doesn't it? Beautiful.
So
you haven't even asked me the name, James. How disrespectful.
The most important thing.
You haven't even asked me the name.
Give the reveal.
What's yours?
My team is called Azuma. Wait, no, sorry. Okay.
You ruined it.
Not the Japanese restaurant on Holloway Road. My team name is called Inazuma, referencing to Inazuma 11, which is like a cartoon that I used to watch, which is an amazing cartoon.
What was the theme song again? It was pretty bang.
Yeah, it's one that I'm not going to sing on the podcast.
Oh, I thought you could hum it, you know.
It's like, hey, ho, stand up, if we love football.
That's it.
Inazuma 11. Right.
Hey.
But yeah, basically it was just a cartoon that me and my brother watched. It was about football and they had like super moves and it was amazing. Aliens came about at one season, so what's not to love?
Podcast special?
Okay. That could be, we could watch a few episodes of that.
James looks very happy right now for the listeners.
I wonder if, I have a feeling it's not going to live up, but I think the way to make it less cringy, because I used to watch it in English, is to watch it in Japanese. So is an anime. But...
Yeah. Okay, just for some context about my team name, we very recently, I was very inspired by a movie we recently watched called Charlie's Angels, and mine is called Arteta's Angels.
Oh my god.
With a little halal part.
Oh my god. That is you know what?
Thank you, James. Thank you very much. Does that bring it up to a 10 out of 10?
10 out of 10, mate.
10 out of 10.
No, 9.5. Get rid of Forster, you get a 10.
Okay.
But
that
honestly, great job on your team because, like I said, I'm not saying I believe this, but it has the chance of outperforming mine. I don't think there's a bad pick in there, apart from ones that don't even matter.
Well, that is music to my ears. I'm very, very happy about that. Yeah, so I guess we'll just keep calling in about this.
Yeah.
You know, keep updating. And what is it? 5 guys at the end? Oh no, it was 50 quid worth of Nando's.
50 quid worth of Nando's.
50 quid worth of Nando's. It kind of sounds like a punishment.
Can I break it up into like...
No.
Oh, okay.
All at once.
Oh, okay. That's annoying.
Oh gosh. I just do you know what it reminds me of? Little transition. Do you remember that movie Hustle?
Oh yeah.
Where he'd eat that one little bite of the food and then leave the rest of it.
Amazing.
It's kind of something. Like, I quite like that little tidbit in there because that's kind of beautiful. I like that.
This might be the poor person in me.
Mm.
And clearly I'm not an athlete. But...
You eat that food, right?
It doesn't matter how expensive something is. Whether it's cheap or whatever, right? Or expensive, whatever. I couldn't, within reason, not finish something so like... I can't just take a bite of a burger.
Bite of a steak, man. You took a bite of a steak.
And just like leave it there because like I get it's because he's a professional athlete and also try bits, but... And honestly... They wouldn't do this, but like in restaurants, they should really have just bites. Because I would want to try like everything on the menu, but just a bite of it.
Well, that's starters. That's why starters are the best.
No, but even starters
are better than mains, though, right?
For another day, but that is a very controversial pick.
The Final Shots Food podcast.
Yeah. No. Mains are... It's hard to argue against mains, really.
just completely dead air because people can't see what we're doing. We're just having a stare off.
just
think. Like you see, you can. The lies are coming out.
Think about Yorkshire puddings.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have that as a starter. And don't dispute it, you can have it as a starter, because then you're just kind of making up sort of, situations there.
Well, either way, I agree with you on the food waste aspect.
Think about Nando's.
I'm thinking. But I feel like sides are included within starters, and the best thing at Nando's is peri solid, right?
That's not starters aside.
I know I said sides are included.
I don't agree.
Anyway, I don't think we'll come to the end of this.
We need to make some
right
rules
now.
to determine this world of, for example, like...
This is
just
a
to
lot
help
of
you.
food
I
podcast
appreciate
shows, like...
that, but just to give them some flavour, like with dim sum, that's not a starter, is it? They're not starters. That is, in a sense, a meal, right? So that debatably is a main, right? Because if you went dim sum for dinner, you're not just having starters there, are you? Even if you went dim sum for lunch, you're not having starters for the whole meal. You're having lunch. It's your main.
I think it spiritually counts as a starter.
Potentially for the argument, it might help you to have it as starters, because otherwise you're just really plucking at straws.
Anyway, did you like Hustle or not?
I loved Hustle.
Despite the food waste.
No, I think... I never knew this, but Adam Sandler and basketball makes a great movie.
There we go. Uncut Gems.
Did we talk about Uncut Gems on a podcast? I don't know.
I don't think we did.
But either way, yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. So a rough synopsis is there's a basketball scout, Adam Sandler, and he's obviously out there trying to look for the next best thing, but he wants to basically be a coach, assistant coach, etc. And it really is about a story of him identifying a Spanish talent. He was from Spain, right? Who was called Bo?
Yeah.
Bo Cruz. And how he believed in him and wanted to get him into the NBA, which obviously would help him with moving up the ladder. And just going through the story, he gets fired because there's a new the son of the owner took over and didn't like him, but obviously Bo Cruz made it to the NBA and Adam Sandler became a assistant coach. So it's just about a journey which, like, you could argue Bo Cruz, who is Juan Hernan Gomez, who now part of the Raptors, was Utah. You could argue but he might be the main character, but Adam Sandler is clearly the main character of the story. I don't know if you agree here, because I think this is quite a Leonard Sheldon situation where...
No, it's all about Adam Sandler.
Okay.
For sure.
And do you think Big Bang Theory, the main character is Sheldon or
This is a different
Leonard?
debate, James. Why are you trying to fight me on this podcast?
No, but this is the sort of... It is the parallel.
I'd say Leonard's the main character, Sheldon's the more interesting one.
Okay. So that makes me feel like Adam Sandler is Sheldon.
Oh my god.
And actually Bo Cruz is...
No, Bo
Leonard.
Cruz is for sure Sheldon. I mean Leonard. Sheldon. Bo Cruz is Sheldon.
He's more interesting.
Yeah, he's like the main thing.
I don't think he's more interesting.
I know, but he's the main thing.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, actually.
It's all about his story, how he becomes...
I think it's all about Adam Sandler's story.
I agree, that's why Sheldon's the main character. Anyway. Yeah. I honestly... My issue with Adam Sandler is obviously he's got a bad rap. But
we haven't seen his bad rap.
That's the thing, I've never seen a bad Adam Sandler movie. I've only seen a couple. But the ones I have watched have been basketball related. And the ones I haven't watched look too bad to even try. But maybe we try it.
Well, he's on 51st Date.
I did, so that was the third
I really
movie
like
I'd
that.
seen. I love 51st Dates. Is an iconic movie. Was there any basketball in it? Maybe that's why it was good. I'm sure he shot a few hoops at some point. But yeah, I think this movie was like a shock to me. I was like not very that interested in watching it.
Oh yeah.
No, not for any particular reason. I was just like, oh, okay, Adam Sandler, basketball. I mean, I love basketball. I don't mind Adam Sandler, but I wasn't that excited about it. As soon as you put it on, I was sold. The whole, like, him traveling as a scout, I just think he really held the whole movie together, you know? And, like, obviously as well, Hernan Gomez, right? He's not an actor.
No.
So I thought he did brilliantly. I'm not sure if James mentioned it while we were watching that he was a basketball player, but like I could watch the whole thing and just believed he was an actor, you know. I thought he did a great job, but Adam Sandler really, really pulled for that movie. It was great. A lot of famous faces. Who is your most moment?
So, I don't know actually. Oh, I think the most hard moment. So, this movie is like, in a sense, a love letter to basketball fans. It had so many cameos, so just to give a few NBA players that were in it, or if I remember anyway. Tobias Harris, the villain in this movie as well is Anthony Edwards, who I thought was great.
So good.
He is very charismatic on the court anyway. I was going to say pitch, field, whatever.
I would punch him in his face. I really would to. It's great.
The hate I felt towards him was unreal, actually. He was on my fantasy team. And I did lose, so maybe there was some building up rage anyway. But I think the movie did very well in putting basketball players where they only need to act with, you know, they didn't have to show a whole lot of emotions, I thought. Like, I think they didn't try to get Juancho. So I had a look, and he's Juancho. I don't know if he has a brother, and I can't remember his name, but I don't think they tried to make him overact. He showed some emotions, and the scenes I always believed, like, it wasn't like Michael Jordan's Space Jams or LeBron in Space Jams again, I guess. And then Adam Sandler definitely was the glue. But the biggest, going back to your question, was the YouTuber the professor, and basically he's like just one of the YouTube professors. I would have lost my
the YouTube professor.
Sorry, one of those YouTube basketball players. I was like, whoa, they got him in. Like I've watched a few videos of him. The YouTube basketball guy I watch is a guy called AJ Lepre, and if he was in it, and I missed it, I'm sad, but if he was in it, I would have lost my mind, because I know NBA players, so seeing guys like, you know, Dr. J or Boban Marjanovic, or, you know, the big the big guy, and like
was he the guy who's pretending he was like 20?
Exactly,
really
right.
Like
that was hilarious. And I already mentioned Tobias Harris, and Kenny Smith was on it as well, who's one of the presenters. He was the agent, if you remember him. He was the other sort of main guy, and Aaron Gordon and all that type of stuff.
Do you know, I was thinking who would have really, like, I no way it would have happened, but would have really blown your mind if some of the commentators were Trey Kirby.
Oh,
that would
the
be
no
something.
dunks. Okay, yeah, but I they don't have that scope.
I know,
actually,
that
sadly,
would be something.
for now.
Yeah, for now.
Actually, I say that they want NBA TV. You know what? Screw that. They definitely do.
To be honest, they probably thought they were too good for it, because you know what they are. Hustle is great, no dunks are better.
Exactly.
There you go.
Like, if AJ Lepre was in it, I would be like, whoa. If no dunks was in it, my life's good. Anything after this point would have been gravy. But yeah, I think the professor, as one of the YouTubers, I guess I wasn't expecting a smaller type star. It was just like the details of like being a basketball fan. It was
a love letter to basketball. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was made by people who loved it for people who loved it. You know. And
Adam Sandler clearly loves it too.
He breathes basketball, man. He breathes it.
And I watched a review from the No Dunks guys, of this movie, and they did say like the only shame, and I agree with it actually, that we didn't see Adam Sandler shoot any hoops, because he was meant to be in the movie. He was meant to be this pretty good college athlete, and it would have been nice to just see him do a shot or two.
I think also like I like that part of the story. You know, I think the story of injury within sport is so interesting and so like heartbreaking to me. I always love when that's in films. And I think seeing him kind of learning his new kind of journey and destiny through Bo was really great, and just the two of them had so much chemistry. Like it just worked so great as a film.
And also, so Hernan Gomez was on the Timberwolves a few seasons ago, and he was teammates of Anthony Edwards. So it's interesting, like on the pitch they're actually like pretty good buddies.
That's quite
so
funny.
Like they're enemies in this movie, but the sort of connection they had was obviously like with these sort of scenes of like them going one-on-one. Like I think they obviously just was reenacting practice, for example, for the Timberwolves. Obviously he's not on the Timberwolves anymore, but on the injury part, I think it is interesting to talk about and think about injuries. I feel like it was a little on the nose, the backstory of how he broke his arm and all that, like because he was saving Kenny Smith.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think maybe so Adam Sandler or I can't remember his name actually. What was his?
Just Adam.
Stanley.
Okay.
Stanley. Adam's better though. Mr. Sandler. I think either he was drunk or something, and he was driving Kenny Smith or his mate, who was his teammate, I guess, and either they crashed or something on the lines, and he tried to save his friends to, like, I guess, to help with the impact, and
his friend probably would have died if he didn't do that.
I don't know. I feel like I can't remember some of the finer details, but it didn't feel like just his hand would have helped the impact that much, personally.
I don't know. I don't think you need to be that forensic about it.
Well, it just didn't make sense, so...
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
If that's the only critique...
We'll bring it down. Yeah, we'll bring it down a couple of points for that. And also the food waste. Come on, guys.
Oh, the food waste, like...
Because I kind of promoted it, not gonna lie, because I am the same. I would never waste food. But seeing that, I'm like, it would be nice to live that kind of life. More in the fact that I wouldn't want to waste food, but knowing I can just eat a little bit, I don't care that I've spent that money. You know what I mean? I could buy 50 quid worth at Nando's and just have one Perry salted chip.
See...
There's something disgusting and beautiful about that, you know?
I disagree.
No, I agree. It's disgusting. I just think it's
particularly, he's come to America to have a great time. He's come from poverty.
He should know the value of food.
He should have that poverty guilt in him to finish everything he's ordered. And if he knows he's an athlete, I mean, no, he knows he's got to be an athlete or whatever, then you just pick the...
Giannis went with the 50 nuggets, so...
Yeah, I think you can have 50 nuggets if you win the championship and score 50 points. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, Bo didn't quite get there.
Like, he hadn't made the NBA at that point, so... but no, it was a great movie. Really enjoyed it. Adam Sandler and basketball. Match made in heaven.
Is he a Knicks fan, right?
I mean, he sounds like it. He sounds like he's from New York. So.
Are Knicks and Celtics like rivals?
No.
So I was wondering whether that was kind of like an insult. Do you know what I mean? The fact that the Celtics team were kind of assholes, on management.
Nah. What do you mean the Celtic team?
Was it not Celtics? What was
Timberwolves? Oh, it's Sixers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sixers. Sorry.
Are they a Knicks rival? Not really.
No. I don't know enough in terms of who the Knicks rivals would be. Like, I guess.
He ended up on the Celtics, wasn't that?
Yes,
was it, wasn't
exactly.
it? Yeah. Okay. So the Celtics were the good guys in this.
Yeah. And Brad Stevens, the coach. Well, actually, not the coach anymore. He's part of the front office or whatever. But he was a former coach of the Celtics, and he was in it, and I thought his acting was atrocious. No. I don't know who the Knicks rivals are, potentially, like maybe with Patrick Ewing. They always got beat by the Chicago Bulls or whatever, so maybe that, but I don't think that's the rivalry. Like, maybe their actual rivals is now the Brooklyn Nets, because obviously it's like Brooklyn.
Yeah, it
and New
makes
York,
sense.
but,
Yeah. And like the Nets are actually good.
Now.
Yeah.
Well,
compared to the Knicks. Or at least a couple of years ago they were good.
No, they're great now. Well, I say great. They got a good team now, but it's whether KD goes.
I was about to say,
right?
everyone's running though. Everyone's running.
Yeah, you got a anti-vaxxer. You got KD who.
I'm very happy KD's leaving. You know, he's too good for them. He needs to find somewhere he's appreciated.
Yeah, enjoy the sun. You know.
Exactly. Enjoy that beautiful sun. Do you think he will come to the Suns? Because I haven't heard much since the initial kind of rumours and everything.
No, I don't.
That's really upsetting. When do these things kind of get found out?
So I don't know when the trade deadline is.
But will it kind of be up to the wire type of deal, do you reckon? Or do you reckon he's already got it sorted?
No, it's definitely not sorted. We might not find out until like February, January.
Wow.
So
fingers crossed, eh?
The season starts probably mid-October.
Yeah.
So it would be nice maybe to have something then. But there's also, and I don't know if there's like a pause and when you can trade during a certain time, but the trade deadline, the deadline would be like, for this season anyway, would be like February sometime. So, like, he might move mid-season. Reason why Suns may not get him is because they might not have enough, unless you get Devin Booker, which I'm not going to do. The only person you really can give now is Mikal Bridges, which might not be enough for Brooklyn. They want someone good back. Before, you could have given Bridges and Ayton, but now Ayton has signed a contract, which means he can't get traded right now, and then by February, I think he can get traded only if he wants to get traded. So.
And everyone's running from the Nets. Who wants to go there?
So it is interesting.
It's exciting. You know, I just want CP3 getting it, man. He needs it. He's earned it.
I feel like everyone gives CP3 this sort of...
James, no CP3 hate, please.
Okay. Everyone seems like, and I'm kind of with it, that let's get CP3 a ring of some sorts. But also...
Is that what everyone says, or is it just me?
No.
Because I don't
at least amongst our friends, when we talk about it, like, people would like him to get a ring. But also, he is a dick. Like, he's a dick.
How dare you?
He's a dick on a pitch.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So, as in, I want him to win a ring, but I'm just saying, like, there's unanimous love, which maybe...
You know what side of you I don't like.
I mean, apparently I'm to be fair, no one can like a £50 Nando's man, so... And so on that note, I think it's time to say goodbye to our first podcast back. It's clearly been a while. I can't remember how you like...
You know, we had so much planned, James. Time has flown.
Do you want to tease what we may have wanted to talk about?
Oh, you know what? I think... Yeah? No. Let's... You'll find out. I'll let you know. It's good. It's
Twilight related. And I feel like...
I mean, slightly,
right?
Yeah. I think, you know, it's
crazy.
Not
really Twilight related.
This is a sports movie podcast, but I feel like in past episodes we've been very much movie based. This week's been all sports.
Yeah.
We've got a year of movies to talk about, James. To be fair, we still have a year of sports to talk about, but I feel like sports, it comes and goes. I mean, are we really going to be talking about the absolute theft that happened in the NBA final? No. We're not going to talk about that because it's upsetting and it's not relevant anymore. You know, we move on. But movies, you know, we got so much. Like, I haven't even talked about Love Hard. Like, that came out last year. Isn't that mad? Love Hard felt like it was like, it's now part of me. Anyway.
I feel like we always had conversations of like, let's talk about this on the podcast. So actually, I don't even know what we have spoken on a podcast or not.
All I know is that we did it last September. So every movie since, like, even when we went to the film festival, all those movies. Titane.
Oh, I was meant to do that amazing...
film festival rundown or something. I mean, we've seen a lot of films. Good films, bad films. You know, it's it's been a ride, and I think
On the spot, best movie you've watched since the last podcast? Just doesn't have to be the actual best, but
notable, I would say Everything Everywhere All at Once. I love
wow,
that film.
great.
I loved it so much. It was amazing.
And worst film?
It's a hard one. It's not worst. I don't know. What's your worst film?
I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure. Maybe watching Twilight twice in 1 week.
Okay, James. Okay.
Not my worst film, but that was just a bit too much even for me.
You know what I didn't enjoy was House of Gucci.
Ah. Yeah, I didn't particularly enjoy that, but I thought it was fine. Actually, I didn't enjoy Dune. I fell asleep, so I can't.
Yeah, you can't. But you can't. No, do you know what you didn't like?
What?
James Bond.
Oh, guys, all right. We've got a lot of content still to give you guys for the.
Well, you haven't said notable one.
Oh, notable.
Lost City. I love that
Come
film.
on, mate. I really enjoyed Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. We hadn't watched it. We watched it recently, and yeah, really enjoyed.
Yeah, great. Yeah, we will. Yeah, there's so many. But yeah, let's talk more next week on the Final Shots podcast.
Hooray!